Hey there. Hey there. Hey there.
Hey there, we're at Raleigh City Farm, which is a nonprofit urban farm located in Raleigh, North Carolina. And if you're new to the channel, we have a lot of volunteer labor here, and this is a nonprofit farm. And one of the main goals of the nonprofit and also personally is that we are training the next generation of farmers and training people about learning how to grow food and learning how to grow good food. And so if you have been following along, you guys know that there's been interns here all summer helping out and really running the farm. And we couldn't have done it without them. And so some of you guys have been asking to get to know them a little bit, and I've been meaning to do that for so long, but we've just been super busy and I've been filming a bunch of other stuff. So today I want to take a few minutes to let you guys meet them and hear a little bit about their story and some of their reflections on the season so far. So Kate, tell us a little bit about what you're going to school for and your background, those sorts of things.
Yeah, I go to NC State for environmental technology and management and minoring in horticulture and agroecology. I'm in my final year.
What brought you to Raleigh City Farm? How did that happen?
Yeah, I actually discovered Raleigh City Farm about 2 years ago, right before I moved in for my sophomore year. My mom and I went to a bakery, it's right up the street, and I discovered this place and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I told myself, I was like, I'm gonna work here one day.
You come to the farm before this summer with a bunch of other farming experience. Can you talk a little bit about how those were different sort of in what we're doing here?
Yeah, so I have experience on 2 different farms, one in Chapel Hill and one in East Tennessee. And both of those farms were pretty laid back. We never sold any of the vegetables we grew. It was just kind of like a learning experience from one, and another one is we had people and taught people how to farm. So it was a lot more of a teaching focus on my part. And then this year has been flip-flopped where I'm learning a lot from Josh and also actually selling the vegetables, which is a lot different because it's a lot more fast-paced, there's a little bit more pressure, and it's like seeing where your produce goes instead of just the chickens.
Okay, I know when we met first you said, I want to work in a place where we have like high production.
Yeah,
so hopefully you got that experience here.
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
And so one thing I noticed in just getting to know you over the summer and our discussions that you're obviously very interested in gardening and farming and sort of flirting with the idea of working as a farmer, but I feel like now you're kind of there, right? Can you talk on that a little bit?
Absolutely. When I first started, I was like, this is a fun hobby. Maybe I can do my own backyard farm, backyard garden, and grow my own produce. But then actually growing to sell it this year, I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. When I grow up, I want to be a farmer.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's
amazing. Okay, and hopefully you can take some stuff away from here and to your next place you're working at or your own farm eventually. So
yeah, so with this experience, I'm like, okay, I can start here.
All right, amazing. And so do you feel, I know you're from Tennessee, but you've been going to NC State for a few years now, and do you feel more connected with Raleigh now, like working here?
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually met a lot of people this year who are like, oh, you work at Raleigh City Farm, that's so cool. And like realizing how many people are involved with Raleigh and this farm particularly, like a lot of, if you know Raleigh, you know this Raleigh City Farm, and it's really cool being like, yeah, this is actually what we do behind the scenes other than just the farm stand, and really cool making those connections.
So what's your favorite process on the farm? What do you enjoy doing the most?
At the end of flipping our beds, I really like taking the landscape break and just evening out the bed, and it's like very thin, making it into that perfect flat bed for planting.
Okay, so is the landscape rake, that's your favorite tool as well?
Yes.
That's amazing.
It is.
All right, thanks so much, Kate. So glad to hear about all the growth and your future plans, and you'll be around a little bit more in the fall, but
yeah,
obviously you have to spend your time focusing on school.
Right.
But I don't think I'd keep you away from the farm.
No, I don't think so either.
All right, Erica, you've been instrumental in the farm this year. Tell the audience here a little bit about what you're going to school for and your interests and those sorts of things.
So my degree is in biological engineering. I have an ecological engineering concentration, but about halfway through I realized that there wasn't a lot of hands-on horticulture, agriculture, information in classes that I was taking. So I added a horticulture minor, and now that these past couple of years I've been trying to really figure out how to integrate all the different interests I have into something long-term. So I'm trying to explore different settings, which is why I was interested in the farm, interested in learning how to practically grow things, and be able to have that knowledge going forward, whether or not I am going to be using it on a day-to-day basis.
So it must have been cool with the horticulture interest to now spend the whole summer working on that.
Yeah, and I've also I've always really enjoyed being outside and being really hands-on. So being able to come out here, even though it's hot and sweaty and dirty, and there's a certain level of satisfaction with being able to see things that are actually growing and then selling and helping bring both just awareness about local and sustainable agriculture to the community, and hopefully education in the future for just the broader community.
From Raleigh too. So does this sort of make you feel more connected with the community and the city?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think, even though I grew up in Raleigh, I didn't really feel as connected to the community as I have in the past couple of years. I have been a little bit more focused on trying to give back to the community that really helped build me. So it's really nice to see that there are these really good local nonprofits like Raleigh City Farm, other organizations that are really working to build our community into something that will be better for everybody in the long term.
All right, so you guys do a lot of different things on the farm. What's your sort of favorite aspect of your day-to-day work?
I really like flipping beds. I like the process and how it kind of stacks on top of each other, and how we can use all the different tools and everything.
Okay, so what's your favorite tool?
I think I like the tilther. I think it's the one that we've used the most, and it just is a very smooth feeling.
Yeah, it's nice when you finish off that bed and you're like, yeah, we just did that. I completely understand. So do you think that this experience has changed sort of your outlook in what you want to do after school, or things you're interested in doing professionally?
I think so. I think because I've been able to get this experience, I for a while I was very much I don't want to do ag, because I thought ag was just these big machines and monoculture crops, and I wasn't interested in that. But being able to see it on a small scale and to see how it's really successful and how it just really brings the community together is really nice.
Well, Erica, I've seen so much growth in you this summer, and you've been instrumental, as I said, into the success of the farm. So thank you so much.
Of course.
I look forward to working with you a little bit more in the fall.
Yeah, me too.
Tessie, so you bring a very different background to the other interns here. Talk a little bit about your background and your professional life outside of the farm here.
So I'm a professional writer and author. My first book came out this year, Crimson Letters, Voices from Death Row, and I focus a lot of my attention on the book. But last year I actually took a year off and traveled around the world with my daughter, who's 6, and we lived on farms and we did farming in different places, and I was just so taken away by that experience that I wanted to continue farming when I got back to the States, and that's why I sought out Raleigh City Farm to intern here.
Okay, and so I know you've worked on very different farms. Mm-hmm. How does this, talk about a little bit that experience and how that compares to what you've been doing here?
Sure, I did woofing farming, and every farm had a completely different culture, but in general I would say through woofing the culture was a bit looser than here. This is more of a production farm, the work is harder, And so I've really appreciated being able to get more of the technical aspects of farming from Raleigh City Farm.
Okay, and so how do you see yourself using this experience moving forwards in your life?
My hero has always been Barbara Kingsolver. She's a triple threat. She's a writer, an activist, and a farmer. So I have the writing and the activist part down already, and now I have the farming, so I can be a triple threat too.
That's amazing. So talk a little bit about your writing and some of the projects that you've worked on and those sorts of things.
Sure. So my book, Crimson Letters, Voices from Death Row, I actually had an incredible opportunity a few years ago to volunteer to teach a writing class to guys on death row over here in Central Prison in Raleigh. And I actually ended up getting kicked out of the prison. And I'm not allowed back in any North Carolina prison right now. So I decided to write a book about it and collaborated with 4 guys on death row. And the book it was an incredible journey writing it. And it's about what brought them to death row and how they've transformed since they've been there. And now we're going around doing speakers talks at universities, churches, colleges, nonprofits. The guys actually call in from prison and speak directly with the audience and answer questions. And we're able to shatter a lot of those stereotypes about who's on death row.
Okay, and if people are interested in checking out your work and your book, I'll leave links down below for all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, in terms of like your triple threat plan here, you plan on like wanting to grow food professionally, commercially, or just mainly for your family, more like a homesteading thing?
I want to do more of a homesteading thing.
So what's your favorite tool that you've used here at the farm?
The broad fork.
Okay. So what's your favorite part of the farm here in terms of like the day-to-day stuff? What do you like to do?
I just love spending this much time outside. Honestly, hands in the dirt, sun on your back. It's really different from being in front of a computer all day or being on Zoom all day, which is pretty much what I do otherwise. So it creates this really nice balance that I think is good. And I also think that it's really a shame that we've lost a lot of knowledge about growing food just as a culture generally. We don't even know sometimes whether what we eat comes from a bush or a plant or a vine or a tree. And so I think getting back to basics and learning that, especially now in a pandemic where the world is just really changing, it was important for me to get involved in something very crucial and basic and relearning a skill that has been lost, I think.
That's absolutely beautiful. Tessie, thank you so much for everything, and I'll be happy to share. Hopefully people can check out your work.
Thank you.
Well, a huge thanks to Kate, Tessie, and Erica. They have just been absolutely incredible. Tessie will be here for a couple more weeks, and Erica and Kate will probably be here as much as they can be throughout the fall. They just had such a great experience here, and they want to continue to help out and to learn. And it just makes me so happy to hear from them and let them reflect a little bit about their experiences and really see that, you know, how this experience has shaped their lives and their relationship with food and farming. And I know especially like Kate, like sort of coming to that realization that she wants to be a farmer, and that just is totally incredible to me. And it's important for me as someone who's been a high school educator, and when I was a brewer also, having apprentices and teaching them how to become brewers and having people here learn how to be farmers or really good homesteaders or just understand about food a little bit more. And it's just been a great experience, and we do have some more interns coming on for the fall, and when that happens, hopefully I'll get to introduce them to you. But this is a big part of what we do at Raleigh City Farm, is connecting people to local sustainable food and to help educate the next really generation of growers and farmers. So hope you enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next one.